Hi, my name's Helen. I live in Sheffield. I'm a writer. I mostly write poetry, fiction, non-fiction, sometimes plays. I realise that's pretty much everything, so I should probably just say that I'm an all-round word enthusiast and book lover and general geek about all things writing related. It's what makes me happiest, really. And I'm just here today to share with you a few writing exercises and tips for well-being, I guess, and things that because I don't only use writing in my professional life, it's more something that I can't exist without. It really is the air that I breathe. I've been writing since I was really young, probably more seriously since I was about 11. And it's a way for me of making sense of the world, confronting difficult things and finding solace. It's that bit of time that I protect for myself. And when I'm not writing, I'm usually reading as well. But the theme that I wanted to talk to you a bit about today is apologising, which is also something very, very, very close to my heart. Put simply, I'm an apology addict. It's probably one of the words that I use more often than anything else. I'll say sorry if I'm 5 minutes late to meet you, but I'm just as likely to say sorry if I'm 5 minutes early. If somebody bumps into me in the street and knocks my coffee cup out of my hand, I'll probably say sorry to them. If I'm standing on a train, just minding my own business, I get the urge to say sorry to everyone who walks past, as if just by being there, I'm somehow in the way. And I think it's no accident that one of the first poems I wrote when I was a teenager in Chesterfield, scribbling stuff down in a notebook and writing poems as a way of processing my conflicted, angsty teenage thoughts and feelings. One of those first early poems that I wrote was actually called 15 Apologies. And it's a bit surreal, really. It takes the idea of apologising to an illogical extreme, and it gets weirder and weirder. And it's all things that are actually beyond the narrator's control. I'll just read you a little extract from it to give you a flavour. 15 apologies. The first was for a careless slip, the lurch of scalding pans, perhaps, a mistimed laugh or phone call. Soon I was sorry for chance, for the twice late post, a dismal slant of rain, and before I knew it, they came quick and sudden. I repented for the distant bark of dogs, for acts of God screened in technicolor from twilight cities where the brickwork never flinches from the rising tide. I was sorry for the gaps between bricks. And the piece goes on and on in that vein, but you get the idea, the sense of being sorry for even the minute things like the gaps between bricks. That's very much me. When I first started, like I say, I was writing since I was a kid, and then I really started performing poems. I used to go to open mic nights and be too nervous to read out at first. But when I finally did take to the stage and started sharing my work in public, I used to apologise for every single poem before I read it out. So I'd usually take to the mic and I'd say, sorry, this isn't very good, or sorry about this one, it's a bit long, or whatever it might be. I was kind of trying to diminish my words before I'd even said them. And it was only when somebody pointed out to me in the audience that I really should stop doing that, because it was quite annoying for the audience, that I eventually stopped. And of course, my reaction to this person was say, oh, sorry you feel like that. So I still couldn't break the habit. Apparently, I'm not alone in this apology obsession. Around 1 in 8 of us apologise up to 20 times daily. So I reckon that's almost one apology per hour. And don't get me wrong, of course, it's vital to apologise when you're in the wrong. Apology is a way of being humble. It's a good way of connecting to someone else. But for some of us, sorry is more than that, I think. It's more like a way of being and thinking and existing. We're saying sorry for the space we take up in the world, and that is not always helpful. And I was thinking, oh, what about all the things that you could do with the energy that it takes to keep feeling sorry all the time? I reckon it could definitely power some light bulbs or make about 1 million cups of tea. All these things that aren't your responsibility that turn into apologies in your head. I've noticed this quite a lot when I work with other writers and other creative people as well. Very often they are apologising for what they've written or said or created in advance of someone else seeing it. They're trying to explain it away or diminish it. So they might say things like, oh, I'm sorry, that doesn't really make sense. Or sorry, I'm rambling, or oh, sorry, that was too long. I don't know if I need to do this or that to it. And I always want to say to them, oh, I really, really know that voice of doubt. I definitely have it as well. And I know how self-consciousness can interrupt the creative process. And worse than that, just the whole business of trying to get on with your day and trying to live. So I think we should sometimes be less sorry, or rather use apology more wisely. And I just wanted to share a few writing exercises with you that might be interesting to do, and that might be a way of turning that tendency that sometimes we might have to feel sorry into something a bit more empowering and a bit more creative. So I know everyone likes to write differently, and it's up to you what you use. Some people like to make notes on their phone. Some people might like to say stuff out loud and record it. Others use a laptop. For me, I've got my trusty notebook with the phases of the moon on it. This is where all my poems start. I'll give you a sense of the kind of stuff that I do in here. This is just a scribbled load of notes, and there's no particular order. I like to just kind of write on the page, and then when I type things up, I put a bit more order into it. So there's a few things that I thought it might be interesting to try if you wanted to explore this idea of apologising. So the first thing that I decided to do to kind of tackle this was to sit down and write a letter. And it's a letter to someone or something. It doesn't have to be a real person. It could be a place. It could be an inanimate object. But someone or something that you really do want to say sorry to or for. Something that you really feel guilty about. I think sometimes when we are very apologetic and saying sorry all the time, it's not that we're sorry for that specific thing, it's that we have a more general sense of guilt or something that we shouldn't say or shouldn't talk about. This piece of writing is only for you, and it's going to go no further than the page. So just sit down and take some time to write a few lines, a page, it doesn't matter, but maybe at least a couple of sentences of an apology to someone that you really want to say sorry to. For me, that would probably be to my step-granddad, who brought me up when I was a little kid and lived in the house next door. And he was the kindest, most gentle man in the world, really patient and loving. And I think because he was so kind and so nice, as a kid, I used to really take advantage of that. And I'd always be really naughty whenever he was looking after me and get myself into loads of trouble and sometimes even be a bit rude to him. I know in my heart that's not really something that I should continue to beat myself up around forever. I was tiny, I was a kid, kids cause trouble, kids do stuff like that. But sadly, my step-granddad's not alive anymore. And I think I've always carried around that sense of, oh, I wish I could say this to him. I wish I could apologise, if only. And so I would sit down if I was doing this exercise now, and I would write something to him and get it all out of my system and just explore that kind of guilt, safe in the knowledge that no one else needs to see it. So that's the first thing to do. Secondly, try sitting down and then writing a list of things that you are not sorry for. I think being unapologetic in a positive way can be really powerful. Deciding what things you're going to own, what things that you're not actually sorry for. Don't know if you've seen like a while ago, I'd sometimes see things tagged on Instagram and stuff like that with the hashtag sorry not sorry, and I quite like that idea, that the sense of being unapologetic for something, or going, actually I'm not really sorry, it's a bit of a joke. So try and write a list of things you will not apologise for. For instance, I sat down and wrote down the first things that popped into my head, and they can be as daft as you like. So I was writing, not sorry for running into the sea naked and sunburnt. Not sorry for staying up past my bedtime. Not sorry for eating the last biscuit. And it went on and on and on. And each phrase started with, each line started with that phrase, not sorry, not sorry, not sorry. So see how many you can come up with, the more the better. Yeah, I might then, once I'd written my initial list, I'd probably go back to it and start to embellish it a bit and give a bit more detail. So for instance, instead of saying, not sorry for eating the last biscuit, I might turn that into, not sorry for eating the last biscuit, the crunch of it, that sweetness on my tongue for days. So I'd be trying to make that list a little bit more vivid. So yeah, write your list of non-apologies or unapologies and stick it on the wall somewhere where you're going to see it every day, so you can remind yourself to not always apologise for who and what you are. Finally, I would probably write myself an apology. I'd get a piece of paper, I'd probably get this notebook again, and I'd rip a piece of paper out. I get my paper, my pen, and I've only got a bit of space. It's not a big space to write on. I'm going to write down something that I'd like to apologise to myself for. So this is really doing a kindness to yourself. For instance, I know what I'd write. I'd just simply put on my piece of paper, I'm sorry for doubting you so much. So that's my apology to myself. I'd then fold it up. So you can fold it, but you can do whatever you want with it then. You can burn it, you can recycle it, you can put it in a drawer, you can pin it somewhere in your house. Maybe you put it on the mirror so that you see it in the morning and it's a reminder to be kind to yourself. Whatever you do with it is up to you. Put it in an envelope and open it again in a few years. But just something to make you think about you mattering as well as other people. I hope that's been fun to try. I hope maybe you got something out of that. I know that sometimes writing prompts, some will suit people better than others. But if in doubt, the best thing is just to show up there on the page and to get your pen and your paper and to see where it takes you. So if you tried to do some of those prompts that I suggested and you went somewhere entirely different, even better, I'm even more pleased that you did that, and you definitely shouldn't apologise for it. All right, thanks for joining me. See you later. Take care.
Hi, I'm Michelle Beck. I'm the founder of Writing for Wellness. If you would like to be kept up to date with the latest Writing for Wellness exercises and how it can help you, then like and subscribe. My website and social media handles are down below. If you like what I do and how I do it, then please consider donating. The donate button is also below, as I put out all this social media content for free because I wholeheartedly endorse the benefits of writing for wellness and believe that it should be available and accessible for all.